Dog, Shaq dissed every center that did a jump ball.
And it was funny.
Even if they didn't do nothing, he dissed every center that did a jump ball.
I don't think that helps. I don't.
Charles Barkley spoke about niggas ringless. He spoke about niggas like they was gum on the bottom of his shoe, yo. Like, enough is enough. What are we talking about?
Hot tea.
Now, if y'all haven't heard, because of this new deal with the NBA and the broadcasting, we're going to see a lot less of Shaq, Kenny, and Charles on the Inside the NBA show. And Joe Budden is saying that Shaq, Kenny, and Charles brought this on themselves. He feels like Inside the NBA has fell off. Let's see what Joe Budden had to say. We're going to get into this in a minute. Make sure y'all like the video and subscribe. Let's go.
It's a big deal. NBA cut a big Amazon deal.
I want to see if
it's a big deal.
I want to see if NBC
they went and hired a crew for both of these places that is lighthearted, friendly, and yada, 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 yada. That's all I'm saying. I'm asking y'all, dog.
It's a big deal.
Look at these. Carmelo, Vince Carter, Reggie Miller, the names, Haslam, D-Wade, the names here tell you what they going for versus what we was talking about. It tells you Adam Silver had a problem with it.
Yeah. They want this more serious coverage.
All I'm asking y'all is, do it feel a little more lighthearted this year to y'all?
I ain't watching the basketball game.
Because the niggas are not watching the games. And when I watch them niggas, it's boring.
I will also say that Adam Silver, during the NBA reign, has driven that product. I mean, maybe it's expanded worldwide and there's better numbers somewhere, but it is a less interesting game than it was in the David Stern era. And I like what he does and what he's saying for most of the time.
I don't know if that's I agree, but I don't know if that's Adam Silver's fault. I think it just might be happening under his watch. I think the game itself is different.
It's changed.
Dog, if you are the commissioner of the league, how long you going to listen to current active players say, we hate these niggas? Dog, the players would go sit down. Did y'all see last season of Inside the NBA when the players had to go sit down with them niggas? It was shade every time a player sat down.
Yeah, it was.
You know why though?
They hated talking to them niggas.
But do you know why? Because now you can't critique these niggas, or they so bitchy that you gotta suck their dick to get a response from them.
I don't think Adam Silver adheres to that.
Cool.
You can't even say that to Adam Silver. Adam Silver's job is to say, this is how my league feels, let me fix it.
You said,
and the players ain't gonna do nothing but keep getting younger-ish, so
bro, you are let me answer you.
Go ahead.
You said, did you see the shade from the players? Because Barkley, Kenny Smith, and Shaquille O'Neal were accomplished enough as basketball players in their own right to critique when these niggas was doing some fuck shit. And now these bitchy ass niggas, if you said, blah, blah, blah is playing like shit this season, now they don't want to come sit with you. With these other people that are totally analysts, they find it in their career's best interest to dick eat.
My response to that
I don't think that really applies to Dirk and them, but
he's saying that when they sat with them, they were mad at them.
But to reply to him, if I'm a player, if you a player, it was painfully obvious none of them was watching games no more. So yes, I would have a problem with somebody critiquing me and saying all this negative shit that ain't even watching the game. I would. If somebody critiqued your podcasting skills and said, I don't watch the pod, but these niggas
but they do.
That's exactly what happened. Who said they wasn't watching the game?
They wasn't watching games. It's not up for debate.
The games that they're talking about.
They were not watching any games. It's not a debate.
They're often not watching it. Not the whole game.
They can't watch the whole game. It's 9 games.
They're not watching none of the games.
What I'm saying is they're often not.
And they sounded like it. It was bad business at the end. The end was bad. Nobody has championed that show more than me. Nobody has come on air and said that is the greatest show and cast ever put together more than me. They fell off bad. And they contributed to their own fucking demise. They did. Sorry, I'm not feeling bad for them. Ain't nobody knocking on the door to get them jobs. Not that they need it, especially not Shaq. But nobody's checking for them niggas in commentary world.
And I will say that,
but it's still on. It's still on, right?
Where?
On ESPN.
Oh, please.
I will say too that give it a year or two. Once people have Dirk said this about me, Steve said this about me, they might be bitchy going up talking to them too. They just have a clean slate with them.
Not just that.
Have y'all heard Dirk and Blake and these talk?
Yes, I have.
Because it ain't really a lot of that. Not to say that it wouldn't be. It's exactly what Adam Silver is saying. They talking about the beauty of the game. They are inviting young people they're getting people excited about our product.
At your crib, I saw Dirk say that how he taught somebody, how he showed him how to shoot, and he was
fam, yes, that's what I'm saying.
I put my finger here, and I was giving advice. I saw that. Yeah,
that shit is fire, though. It is a much lighter league.
I'm not taking that.
What do you
wait till Christmas? I think they're doing Christmas.
What do you think is going to help people be more incentivized to watch basketball? Hearing them get clowned all the time, or hearing some other people really critique the sport and give some real feedback on what's going on?
Both.
Dog, Shaq dissed every center that did a jump ball.
And it was fun.
Even if they didn't do nothing, he dissed every center that did a jump ball.
I don't think that helps. I don't.
Charles Barkley spoke about niggas ringless. He spoke about niggas like they was gum on the bottom of his shoe, yo. Like, enough is enough. What are we talking about?
I like both.
All I'm saying is, if I'm Adam Silver, I'm fixing that shit fast and shooting shots. He was very clear in what he said. It wasn't no sub.
Guess what's gonna happen? We gonna see. Because the ratings gonna tell a lot. We gonna see. Them niggas wasn't winning all them awards for no fucking reason, bro. Them niggas was the most popular sportscast in the world for at least
and incredibly talented. Yeah. I think both are true. But I know they're going to do Christmas, and I think they're going to do the NBA Finals. They're doing like big events now.
But no, why I don't like that, because the world changes. Like, yes, at one point they were
Joe.
Let me talk. They were them.
Remember that.
Oh, please, and I'll let you do the same. Then every retired athlete popped up in their field. It got very, 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 very crowded for them. Mm-hmm. So now we in free reign creator world where it's not just the networks that are deciding the sports voices that get to talk. Now you have to contend with niggas that's staying up till 4 a.m. watching games. They breaking shit down. They doing it now. Whatever you did before, like, people could tell when you don't put effort into your job.
That's true.
Like, I don't know if people know that or not. Yes. People can tell. They can look at your performance and tell you ain't see shit, you're not watching shit, you sound nuts. How long before Adam Silver was supposed to yo, dog, pull this shit the fuck? Am I paying for this?
Watch this. And when you get comfortable in your job, all right, I got 2 points. One, you're a rapper. You're not just a rapper, you're an exceptional rapper. There's times when you come up here and look at rappers like that shit is trash. So the same way Charles Barkley and them took their job seriously when they played basketball, Magic Johnson said, nigga, I was shooting 500 jump shots a day because I knew Larry Bird was shooting 1,000. These today make so much money that Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith, and them be like, yo, you can tell they not working on their game, and they're critiquing that. The same way you might look at a rapper and say, yo, this nigga ain't putting no effort into the rap.
But can I reply to that point first, and then I'll toss the tongue? Can I reply to that point?
Sure. Yeah.
And if my music reviews were contingent upon me getting the music licenses on this show, it would go different.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but
music license to play the music on here, to do certain things with the music. Yeah.
Yeah, like if I were a record label partner and they gave me all the licenses and I took those licenses every week and came away and said, all these niggas is trash, things would be different.
Yo, that's not fair.
How?
Because
I thought that replied directly to that.
No, it doesn't. Because Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith, and Shaquille O'Neal have nothing to do with the NBA's deal with TNT because somebody outbid TNT and TBS to get the rights to host the NBA games. That didn't happen as a result of these three and their performance. If you came up here and critique rappers and now as a result you didn't get the licensing, then that's a direct reflection on you. That's not a direct reflection on Charles, Kenny, and Shaq because that's bigger business above them. And them niggas pay great.
I think he's saying the Adam.
I think y'all talking about two different points.
No,
y'all talking past each other.
So that's what I'm saying. Like the TBS deal and the TNT deal.
I think he's wrong in that. Like, we on different sides of that. I think Adam Silver, and if I search, I could probably find it, at the end of them deals said, I'm not coming back here, and anywhere I do go, y'all are not coming.
Adam Silver,
y'all are
got
not
the power to do that.
I do also want to mention that the entire sports landscape has changed a lot from where in the 90s ESPN was super analytical. It turned way too much character, in my opinion. Yeah. That applies to First Take. It applies to the entirety of ESPN's programming, where now it's just hot takes and bad fucking
and arguments,
and analysis and arguments.
That's all it is.
And that's what they think fans want.
So I can't be surprised that TNT and Inside the NBA specifically did the same thing because that is the model that has been working in sports media for 15 plus years.
Yeah, and I think that's
it's bad.
following.
I agree with you.
Like,
agree with that.
actual in-depth analysis of sports has not been on mainstream media for 20 years.
A decade.
That's not true, though. That's not true.
All right, now for me, I feel like two things can be true. Number one, the players are too sensitive. Number two, a lot of these commentators don't watch the game. I might have to put 2 bombs on that. Y'all saw Stephen A up there playing mobile games while he's supposed to be watching the game. And that's been a criticism on a lot of these guys now, because a lot of people don't have to do all of this research to make this content, right? Stephen A doesn't have to watch every game on the NBA schedule to go on his show and, do these talking points. That's why a lot of these big commentators and on Inside the NBA, I'm assuming as well, they had those earpieces in their ear. And the earpiece is for the people in the background to tell you what to talk about, to give you little facts and little stats so you can sound better on air. And that goes to show y'all that for a long time, a lot of these big famous commentators, they don't watch the whole game. They're getting paid to be entertaining. Stephen A. Smith paid to be entertaining. Shaq, Kenny, Charles, they're paid to be entertaining. And don't get it twisted. I feel like the Inside the NBA show is still very funny. Shout out to Charles Barkley too. Y'all notice Barkley getting skinny? Everybody taking that jab. Everybody got the Ozempic pack, allegedly. Anyway, but Charles looking good. But yeah, the show is still funny, but here's the thing. You know how you can really tell that they not watching the game? It's because a lot of the older players always talk about how trash the product of the NBA is. And I can say the same thing about a lot of our favorite commentators. Oh, they too soft. They don't really go out and play. If you breathe on them, it's a foul. So when you say you don't like the product, why are we supposed to believe that you watch it? They don't watch it. So, like I said, 2 things can be true. Yes, the players are mad sensitive. Yes, you got players making burner accounts. Just because KD got caught with the burner account don't mean he the only one. A lot of these people got burner accounts. A lot of these celebrities got burner accounts. I think sometimes they be in my comments. I be like, you know what? Is that you? Is that you at the house trying to act like you Joe 55? Okay? And like I was saying, the players are sensitive. You can't critique them in a way where they feel like they're being disrespected, because a lot of these new entertainers, whether it's streaming, whether it's basketball, everybody's getting all of this money. And the more money you get, the more empowered you feel, the more privileged you feel, right? You feel like my ish don't stink. So when you critiquing, one of these big players who making hundreds of millions of dollars, they thinking to themselves, hold on, I got $100 million game. But they don't think about that it's a players' league. You're not just really getting paid because you worth all of that money. Some of y'all getting paid because the team ain't got nobody else, and you just the best player on the team. And like I said, it's a players' league, so we got you here so you can sell tickets. It don't mean that you just as good as Steph Curry or Kevin Durant or whoever. And look, let's just call a spade a spade. It's a lot of jealousy when these commentators, ex-players specifically, talk about these players because they're getting paid all of this money. Now, I know some people gonna get mad when I say this. I do feel like the NBA players today work a little harder. They practice longer. A lot of them stay in shape during the off season a little better than the generations before them. I'm talking about pre-2000s. And so I do feel like the product of the NBA now, it looks a lot better. Everybody looks athletic. Everybody looks super tall. Everybody looks like a basketball player, where back in the day, some people did look like they was a plumber. It was a lot of just janitorial workers in the NBA at a certain point in time. Let's just call a spade a spade. But these older guys still look at these newer guys and say, y'all are too privileged. We didn't get all that money. So we going to be a little harder on y'all in the commentary as well. Now, as far as the commissioner saying, hey, my players aren't happy with this, product, and so we going to kind of, step back on Inside the NBA right now, and we gonna let this new crew come in, Dirk and Blake Griffin and all of that. I do think it's a different take, and I do think eventually we was gonna have to have some fresh faces anyway. How long is Shaq, Kenny, and Charles and the white guy? I forget his name. Shout out to him. I love that guy. He survived cancer and stuff like that. Because we've been watching this show for so long, we damn near feel like we know everything about the Inside the NBA crew's lives. But anyway, at a certain point in time, you're going to need to bring in new faces. And we're seeing that all around media as well. Some of these people who have been in place for all of these years, unless you at a certain age, it's like, look, just like when you see Charlemagne get the big deal, Charlemagne not as old as the Inside the NBA crew, meaning he got a few more years left. How long you think Shaq, with all of that money, want to keep doing this show? How long you think Charles want to keep doing this show? They want to get on the golf course. Shaq want to mess with some of them young girls. So it was time to bring in some fresh faces anyway and kind of start to transition that show out. And don't be surprised if over the years they start bringing new people in for the Inside the NBA show. Eventually, I think we're going to see Draymond Green on this show. I think eventually we're going to see some of these other NBA podcasters transition to some of these jobs that we see the Charles Barkleys of the world's having and the Shaqs having. Okay, so that's coming. So y'all tell me what y'all think about this. I hope y'all enjoyed y'all holiday. Y'all see I get caught up. I hope y'all had a good holiday. Make sure y'all like the video and subscribe. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.